Okay, since you're watching this video, you probably know a thing or two about Xbox, so I've got some slightly lesser known things about your favorite console that you might not have picked up on. We got quite a few of these from watching Xbox's official documentary Power On, so I'll link it down below if that tickles your fancy, but in the meantime, let's get into the list. If I told you that an Xbox One gamepad cost over $100 million, you'd probably be like, how could anyone afford one? Seems like a poor business strategy. Maybe the decimal point's in the wrong point. Now, obviously that wasn't the price tag, but the amount Microsoft spent on research and development to come up with a controller that was as comfortable, responsive, and enjoyable to use as possible. They went through over 200 prototypes to get there, but the end product made it all worthwhile. By now, it's hard to imagine a world where the term Xbox isn't part of our daily vocabulary, but the original console could have very easily been called something different. So Microsoft went through more than 30 other names for the original Xbox, including the E2, which would have stood for Extreme Experience, and the Mind, or Microsoft Interactive Network Device. There were loads of other super random ones too, like 11X, Cyclops, and Frixion. Actually, that last one's pretty cool. The name Xbox came from another bit of tech from Microsoft, DirectX, which is a collection of APIs, so it would literally be a box of DirectX. DirectX box. So you know that lovely green circle in the middle of the original Xbox console? Well, it wasn't just a fun splash of color. It was actually designed to make the console look like it was brimming with nuclear energy. The effect was underlined by the original boot-up animation, which showed a glimmering green orb pulsating with energy. Now, its atomic style wasn't the only futuristic thing about the original Xbox either. If you cast your mind back to the first ever Xbox dashboard, you'll remember a green glowing screen with some really weird noises. They sounded alien, and they basically were. Xbox used public domain NASA audio to make the console feel and sound out of this world. Right, here's a good pub quiz question for you. Who did Microsoft have on stage presenting their first ever gaming console in 2001? What's that? Bill Gates? I guess, yes, you're technically correct. But his presenting partner might take a few more guesses, given that was Mr. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Back when he was just the humble, biggest name in sports entertainment and not also a massive Hollywood superstar. Although, he was still pretty massive. Do you guys want to know what The Rock said about the Xbox? He said, and I quote, "The Xbox is everything The Rock is. Cutting edge, powerful, exhilarating. And like The Rock, it will be the most electrifying thing coming out this year. Amen." Another notable thing from early Xbox lore actually comes before the world's oddest tag team showed it off. It used to look very different, as in an actual Xbox shaped like an X. Producing a console that looks like a big shiny X is seriously a flex, and the prototype does look extremely cool, but funnily enough, it turns out to be a very impractical shape to fit all that cutting-edge hardware into. So Microsoft ultimately decided to swap it out for the classic design we now know and love.
Who was your best Halo team?
Today, the Halo series is synonymous with Xbox gaming and with the FPS genre, but the crazy part is that it wasn't originally going to be a shooter. For much of Halo's development, the plan was to make a real-time strategy game where players would guide troops and tanks through a sci-fi world. However, the developers soon realized that roaming around in a Wraith was a lot more fun when you were directly in control, and the switch to first person was made. It's one of those sliding door moments that changed the whole industry. Halo Combat Evolved was one of the first games to make first-person shooting work on a gamepad, and its sequels would pioneer the world of online multiplayer that we're so familiar with today. Plus, they did eventually get to make some pretty stellar RTS games with Halo Wars 1 and 2. And while we're on the topic, Halo 2's online multiplayer is the stuff of legends, and basically ushered a whole new era of gaming. But all good things must come to an end, and it seemed like its time was up when 6 years after Halo 2's release, Microsoft finally decided to call time on Xbox Live for original Xbox consoles in 2010. Except some players weren't done playing yet. By simply refusing to log out or turn their consoles off, a small cadre of die-hard Halo fans kept the second game going for an additional month. Really was a noble effort, which Xbox recognized by giving each of them early access to the Halo Reach beta. And since the Master Chief Collection means we can now all enjoy the full majesty of Halo 2 in glorious HD, it all worked out pretty well for everyone. Aside from those incredible shooting mechanics and sweet graphics, one of the things that made Halo feel like it was ushering in a whole new generation of gaming was its incredibly immersive audio. You really felt like there were lasers zipping right past your face. In a good way, of course. And it was all possible because the original Xbox made the revolutionary decision to implement Dolby Digital 5.1, allowing for surround sound gaming. Gears of War is another truly game-changing series that is intrinsically linked with Xbox. Its slick cover-based combat set a new standard for third-person shooters everywhere, while its gritty, war-torn world and stunning set pieces made for some of the most cinematic gaming any of us had ever experienced. So cinematic that they actually had to make the Xbox 360 bigger just to fit Gears of War on it. You see, originally the Xbox 360 was going to be built with 256 megabytes of RAM. Don't laugh, that sounds quaint now by today's standards, but it was a lot at the time, I swear. Still, it wasn't enough for the Gears of War devs and their blockbusting vision. So they convinced Microsoft to supercharge their console with 512 megabytes instead. At this point, a Game Pass subscription feels pretty much invaluable, but if you were looking to put a number on it, $5,000 would be about right. That's roughly the value of the games that were added in 2023 alone. For those of us in the UK, that's about £4,000 worth of shiny new titles that Game Pass members got to enjoy last year, including huge releases like Starfield, Forza Motorsport, and Lies of P. Good times. If you've been button bashing your way through Street Fighter bouts or abusing the sprint button in EA Sports FC, you might be wondering just how much punishment an Xbox gamepad can take. Thankfully, the answer is a lot. Specifically, Microsoft's testing has revealed that it takes over 3 million button presses before performance is affected, so you should be fine for at least one more match. Hellblade 2 is one of our most anticipated titles, largely because of what an iconic character Senua is. When it comes to ancient Scottish warriors, she really is the pick to the bunch. Senua is brought to life through some incredible motion capture technology and the acting of one Melina Jurgens, who turned in a performance so good that won a BAFTA. Especially impressive when you consider Melina wasn't originally an actor, she was Ninja Theory's video editor. Maybe I'll win a BAFTA one day. Pop quiz, hotshot. What is Microsoft's longest running software product? What's that? Windows, you say? Word? Something that all of our computers have used for basically forever? Well, the real answer is actually Microsoft Flight Simulator. Gotcha! Well done if you got it right. The original Microsoft Flight Simulator was released all the way back in 1982, and development on it actually started as early as 1977. They had planes back then. So for reference, this series is roughly the same age as Star Wars, MRI scanners, and Shakira. Can you even imagine a world before Shakira? Because I can't, and I don't want to. Those hips don't lie. And with a brand new version of the game on the way later this year, it doesn't look like Microsoft Flight Simulator will be touching down anytime soon. Got any fun facts about Xbox or gaming? Fire them into the comments, I'll read through them, and I'll see you all next time for another Xbox history lesson. Class dismissed.